The college football experience, Kansas State Wildcats 2023 season preview episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Networks, brought to you by Circa Sports. Yes, Circa Sports is back with their Circa Survivor and Circa Millions contest. $14 million are up for grabs. Come on, folks. Get on over to circusports.com to get all the details. And remember, as always, folks, to let it ride.
Hey, everybody. Joe Theismann here. You're listening to SGPN. So do this. Let it ride.
Yes. Woo! Welcome to the college football experience. Kansas State Wildcats 2023 season preview episode. I'm excited to talk about the Wildcats. Perhaps you're wondering just who the hell you're listening to. Well, my name is Kobe Swinging Database Dan, a.k.a. Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I smoke and I drink and I don't have stress and I'm healthy.
And you're nothing but a chameleon, lemon-headed, coward, terrorist pussy. And I'm after you, buddy. You're going to pay for it. Good night.
You're going to pay for it? Look, I'm wearing the glasses. If you're watching on YouTube, youtube.com/the college experience. It's because I had to double check my bank account. Yes, I did hit on a plus 800 ticket a year ago on the Kansas State Wildcats to win the Big 12. Thank you very much, world.
Very nicely done.
Or you're welcome, I should say. I can't fucking talk. I am joined by my co-host. Give it up for former JMU Duke defensive back, the burrito eating, sideline kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing, Patty C in the place to be.
Hi-oh. Well,
let's get it going, buddy. Let's get it going.
Yeah, buddy.
One of my favorite programs. All right?
Oh, yeah.
From the days of Chad May to Mitch Running to Michael Bishop. All them guys. Al Roberson, Darren Sproles. Gotta love what they're doing.
Darren Sproles 2.0 most recently, a.k.a. Deuce Vaughn.
Deuce Vaughn. And look, I was all over this a season ago. I mean, come on.
L-D, Cats, W-I-L-D, Wildcats, W-I-L-D, Cats.
Patty, see, they are the reigning Big 12 champions, and they did it with two different quarterbacks. What a season a year ago. I really believe, and Chris Kleiman doing an unbelievable job. But, Patty C, this is the Kansas State Wildcats here, and I think, if they need me to fill out any paperwork, they are the 1910 national champions. All right? 1910, they had some terrible years later on, right? Works for them, and I'm curious.
Damn near the, 1999 was it? National champions?
What was 1997 national champions? I'd be curious.
Yeah. That's true. 97 was Michigan and Nebraska with the split.
Were they both undefeated? I think they were, right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay, well, who knows what would have happened with the playoff there. But, because they only had one loss. But, yes, they have won a national championship before. If you need me to fill that out, I will fill it out because we've seen so many phony other ones in college football. But Patty's here wearing my Run the Damn Ball t-shirt, and I feel like it fits this team. We're going to talk all about that. But what do you think of Chris Kleiman?
He's doing a great job. Look, it's not like he's going to step in and be Bill Snyder, right? He's never going to fill those shoes.
Well,
but
winning Big 12 championships, you might.
Yeah, start doing that. All of a sudden, he joins Bill Snyder's company as a great.
If you take out the COVID year, right, which I believe you should, because remember, Kansas State had to play with 40 guys out the whole year.
Yeah.
You remember that? Like, their economics, they needed it for the town, right?
Right.
And so if you look at it without the COVID year, where they were one of the teams that really got devastated, they are 26-14. He's 26-14 as the head coach.
Yeah.
That's a lot better than when you look and see 30-20, but you have that 4-6 blemish there because of all that bullshit they had to deal with.
Speaking of the finances of the town, is this not just the quintessential college football team?
This is beautiful too. Like, this state, everything about Kansas State is why I love college football.
Yeah.
We've once, and I know Real Money Kramer, Virginia Tech grad, says, K-State is Virginia Tech of the West.
Yeah.
I guess west of Virginia.
Center of the country, yeah.
I love this program. There's something about this program. They're always, and ever since Bill Snyder's been there, they're better than what you think. You can sit there and pull up. This is what the one of the programs that make recruiting rankings a sham.
Yeah, they are always trying to find the edge, and like Virginia
always
Tech,
great special teams,
Yeah, exactly.
always great hard hitting defense. Yeah. All the little things. They normally have an athlete at quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, quarterback wise, you just rattled off a bunch of them. I'll throw a few your way. I mean, Josh Freeman was a pro, right?
Yes.
But Skylar Thompson, Jake Waters, Al Roberson, Colin Klein, Michael Bishop, like you said, a lot of these guys that have recently played that,
you could say Will Howard and Martinez.
Yeah, Martinez. Will Howard may have a little pro potential, but these other guys are straight college quarterbacks but they do a great job and they help them win games.
Patty C, they have so Texas hasn't won a Big 12 champ. It's funny that Texas is going to the SEC because they haven't won one in quite a while. Kansas State's actually won 2 more recently than Texas.
Yeah.
Why is K-State not going to the SEC?
Yeah, I mean, look, they're willing to go further west than Kansas by getting Oklahoma and Texas, or at least as far west. So
and by the way, I think Oklahoma fans rejoiced when they saw the new Big 12 schedule with 14 teams when Kansas State's not on the schedule.
Yeah.
Because K-State's been fucking them up lately.
Yeah. K-State's been a thorn in their side.
That was so hilarious last year. I feel like every play was a QB draw by Adrian Martinez, and they had no answer for it. Oklahoma looked like they had it was just like QB power every play.
Yeah.
It look.
Where would K-State fit in the pecking order of the SEC, do you think?
I mean,
behind Alabama,
yes.
Georgia. I think they'd be ahead of Tennessee in the last 20 years easily.
Definitely.
Easily.
Yeah.
Behind
Auburn?
LSU.
I don't know. Them and Auburn would probably be similar.
Yeah. Behind LSU.
Yeah.
Probably behind Florida most years.
They'd probably be actually. How about this?
They'd be Auburn.
They were better than A&M and Missouri. They took A&M and Missouri, and K-State was better than both of them.
You know
when they
what?
were in the conference.
The only thing that's keeping Kansas State out of the SEC is the fact that Manhattan isn't a big city.
Yeah. But that's our edge, folks. All right. Look, I know I'm not from the little apple known as Manhattan, Kansas, but that's the edge. That's what makes them appealing. That's what makes college football awesome, is that you can tune in and see them just go this
toe to toe with the best.
I mean, they've been doing this shit for like 30 years.
Yeah.
30 years. So it's like, I love it. I can't wait. I cannot wait, Patty C, to watch the Big 14 this year.
They got great uniforms too.
They do. Everything about them is perfect.
Yeah. I liked them when I first saw them. My first real memory of paying close attention was obviously 98 when they're playing A&M in that Big 12 championship game.
Yeah.
I liked them right away, but having listen to you and your love for them and slowly see what you've been.
And I was a Colorado fan, so I was forced to watch them all through the 90s. And it was like, that's one of their rivals. But I loved them because I was like, they're just perfect.
Yeah.
They're perfect. They are college football. It's funny. If you ask like a bozo on the street, they'll say, oh, Ohio State and Alabama is college football. I completely disagree. I'm not trying to shit on those programs. Like, what is college football is Kansas State.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's absolutely perfect what they got going. We're going to talk about the 2023 Wildcats because people got Wildcat fever all throughout Kansas, Patty C. You heard of hay fever. It's been taken over by Wildcat fever.
There you go.
All right?
It's a new disease, and everyone is catching it.
It is true. Everyone's catching it in the great state of Kansas. And, I mean, how about Kansas football between them and the rise of the Jayhawks? I know they don't want to hear that on this show, but I'm saying it's a fucking great state. Wichita State needs to bring back their program.
Yeah.
I don't know why that shit ever went away. Bill Parcells was there. I mean, come on. It's part of their alumni base. Get that thing
Barry
going.
Sanders, a Kansas high school football legend.
Yeah, John Riggins. Come on. You got all these guys, man.
They play some football in the great state of Kansas.
So we're going to talk about the K-State offense, defense, special teams. We're going to talk about all that good stuff, man. And we're going to talk about the transfer portal. We're going to talk about their upcoming schedule. We're going to go game by game on the schedule. But first, I want to tell you that actually, folks, you should be subscribed. Like I said, hopefully you're watching this on YouTube. You're seeing me nerd out with these glasses on. And youtube.com/the college experience. But we also host the FCS college football experience in case Wichita State goes to start their football program, which I know they've been talking about. We also host the college basketball experience, which we talk all year long. And when the college basketball season comes, we talk every single night of the season. Remember, K-State, they went further in the NCAA tournament than Kansas. Oh, how funny it is.
That's a taunt if there ever was one.
That is. So Jerome Tang doing great things. Come check us out. We also host the college baseball experience. Come together as one on YouTube, youtube.com/the college experience. But those are all separate podcast feeds. So go listen to those. We also just welcomed the Big 12 college experience, where Ryan McIntyre and his co-host, all Big 12 ties. You want to check out that podcast.
K-State
the Big
will
12
be
college
heavily featured
100%
on that
because
this
they
fall.
keep an amazing athletic department. Let's fucking go.
By the way, who votes that Colby Dent, whenever he wears these glasses, should have to wear a scarf, maybe a fedora?
This is where I fit in LA.
Yeah, Silver Lake Colby.
Yeah. No, what happened was I was doing a 32 by the option split, and my eye is a little fucked. You know what I mean?
What you need is some rec specs. You need to have rec specs.
I need rec specs. Does that company still exist? All right, because I will gladly
sacrifice
invest. No, I'm talking about in the stock market. I will invest.
Oh yeah, bring them back.
I will invest in rec specs. Folks, look, before we talk about K-State, everything, all right, and I mean fucking everything. I want to tell you that the college football experience is brought to you by Circa Sports. Yes, Circa Millions and Circa Survivor are back. $14 million in guaranteed prizes are up for grabs. Circa Millions, they got 5 NFL picks ATS against the spread each week. You can do that. Get on over there. It's a lot of fun. Best record takes all. And then you got Circa Survivor. Just pick a different moneyline winner each and every week of the season. All right. You can't pick the same team. I mean, you know how Survivor works. Absolutely fantastic stuff that they got going there. You can enter in Vegas, but play from anywhere. Sports Gambling Podcast. The SGPN crew will be out there the last weekend in August. All right, set up a little proxy. All right, circusports.com for all the details. Once again, circusports.com. What would you do if you win $14 million? Maybe you do bring back Wichita State's program, or maybe you invest in the NIL in Kansas State. That's what I love. All right, that's what I love about all this. So check out circusports.com for all the details. We're back on the college football experience, and I want to talk about what I was alluding to on that commercial break when I said that's what I love. Patty C, I don't know if this is your Mark's calling or the previous president. I think it was the previous president. I'm drawing a blank on his name right now. I kind of love what the Big 14 or Big 12, even with Texas and Oklahoma out of there. I love the fact when you think about their whole conference, every fan base is passionate. I think that's the driving force. And sometimes when you look at the ACC or the Pac-12, they have areas.
They have vast swaths of the conference that are
completely. Well, actually, the Pac-12 is actually losing UCLA and USC, which is in a way they could potentially upgrade.
Yeah.
If they get SMU and San Diego State, they can actually upgrade from fan turnout.
Yeah, stadium fan turnout.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but the Big 12 gets it. They're like this. Like I thought it's one of the smartest things the Sun Belt did. The Big 12 did the same thing. They get it. Like I get it. They're adding competitive football schools, but they're adding schools with when I think of football and basketball in the Big 12, moving forward, I'm honestly I'm more excited than pretty much any other conference.
Let me ask you this: aside from And yes, they've done that, but maybe it's just because that section of the country is particularly, football centric.
But what's the difference between that and the Big Ten, though? The Big Ten is so marketable because they're passionate fan bases. They say, Michigan State, Iowa. Well, I mean, come on.
Yeah, they're just bigger schools in the Big Ten. But I guess what I'm getting at is who else would they have gotten? Who would have been a fit? Like,
well, I mean, there's already been talk of San Diego State or something, but I mean, their fan base is actually decent.
I mean, it seems like they have some of the flagship schools in the state, so that's every other conference.
Well, it's not only that; it's that they're awesome in football and basketball.
Well, yeah, that helps.
Like, when I think about every school,
I'm just saying, who would have been a dud? Who would have been a dud that the Big 12 could have gone after? That would be a relative regional fit, even though that's not. And maybe that's one thing.
UNLV would be a dud, and I know they're still talking about potentially doing that.
Yeah. They would be a dud because they're not passionate.
Well, they play at that NFL stadium, which makes no fucking sense because they don't have that many fans. They got to get good, and they should go back to Sam Boyd, in my opinion, because it's a smaller stadium where you can actually look. There's a reason why. No disrespect to Kansas State, but there's not 120,000 seats in that stadium. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like there's not that many people. I get it. Vegas has that many people.
Yeah,
but they're all transplants.
Yeah.
So that would kind of be a dud to me.
Yeah,
they still might go. I know Yormark wants to do that, and I still think there's potential. We've lobbied this forever that UNLV is a sleeping giant.
Of course, there's huge potential if they're. I mean, it's going to be a fair weather fan. They have the same potential that USC has, like maybe not quite that.
My point is like when you turn on UCF football, right?
Yeah,
their fans are all the way in. They're not Miami fans. There's a big fucking difference between UCF fans and Miami fans.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
and when you turn on a game at Nippert, stadium's packed. Fans are in it, right? You turn on a Houston game, stadium's packed. They just recently had that stadium built on campus, a brand new one.
Yeah.
So the excitement's there. You turn on BYU. BYU is probably the best of all of them.
Yeah.
BYU's passion to what is college sports, fucking fantastic, right? Well, to me, the other Big 12 schools have all had that.
I guess you could say Tulane might have been a bit of a dud. Obviously that
potential.
Great
I mean,
year.
Especially if they were to suck when they first come in, because it's
in New Orleans,
it's a recent excitement.
Yeah,
it's a private school. You know what I mean? Like, so there's that.
Yeah.
But I can tell you, man, like whatever the Big 12 is doing, I think they're doing it right. And so check out the Big 12 college experience. See that commercial? It's a long fucking commercial. Guys, folks, world, girls, whoever, aliens, fucking Sam Cassell. Let's talk a little bit about the transfer portal, Patty C. What, you didn't like my Sam Cassell shade?
No, that was definitely fitting. He is definitely straight out of. He's a Martian.
Well, the government's admitted that we've had aliens,
right?
So now I mean, we've had UFOs, which means there's now that the U.S. Navy has admitted that. I feel like there's a high chance Sam Cassell came from one.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Before they were in denial, and I felt like we would I would be looked at like a maniac when I said Sam Cassell's an alien, but now it's like there's strong chances.
Right.
I'd say like 93.6%.
Those dots
chance.
are definitely connecting at this point.
Yeah, there's a lot, man. There's a lot. Patty C, let's talk about the transfer portal. Let's see if they won or lost this portal, because they did lose offensive tackle Jalen Clem to the Washington Huskies. And obviously the transfer portal is so huge these days. Linebacker Gavin Forshaw goes to South Alabama, and cornerback Omar Daniels going to Georgia Tech with the Ramblin' Wreck. Running back Jax Deenan is in the portal. Hasn't landed anywhere yet. Offensive tackle Kingsley Ugwu goes to Fresno State. Wide receiver Brennan Hawkins is at Austin Peay with the Governors. And defensive end Ozzie Hoffler is at Georgia State. They also did lose Cartez Crook Jones. What a great name. Cartez Crook Jones, defensive lineman, goes to Northern Iowa. And then offensive tackle Whit Mitchum is now at North Alabama. Linebacker Crew Jackson. This is one that was surprising to me. He headed off to Arizona State. Might have got a little paycheck if I had to guess. That was one that was a bit surprising. Tight end Connor Fox goes to Texas State. Safety TJ Smith to Georgia Southern. Quarterback Jaron Lewis to Kent State. And we have defensive end. No. That was back in August. Okay. So
I didn't see a lot of production going out the door there.
Well, especially when you consider like this team won the Big 12 championship a year ago. So there's only one to me, Crew Jackson, that stands out.
Yeah.
The rest, like, I'm not saying they're bad players. They might be fine elsewhere.
Crew Jackson didn't even. I mean, he played in 11 games.
Yeah,
but he had two solo tackles, 3. How is that even possible that you play in that many games and your stats are so low? Maybe he only got a couple snaps here and there. He did get a sack.
Yeah, perhaps. But let's talk about what's incoming, because I really think they smashed the. Where's my Bruce Pearl drop? Where is my Bruce Pearl drop? Because that's right. I thought they smashed the transfer portal. They landed. Now, this is not the reason they smashed, but Southeast Missouri State.
Play that sound drop again. Smash! What the hell is that?
That's Bruce Pearl doing an interview after at Auburn and Alabama were playing, and he thought his big men were fouled, and they went to interview him after the game, and he yelled he said, our guys are getting smashed. But Tyler Nalome comes in from Southeast Missouri State. Patty C, that was a top 25 FCS team. So and that's what Chris Kleiman offers. These little gems, I feel like, that are out there and in the FCS ranks.
Mining.
They also brought in Jacob Newth, from a quarterback from Minnesota. He's done rowing the boat. He says, God damn it, I want to go to the Little Apple. All right. Then they brought in Mississippi State defensive lineman Javon Banks. I like that get. And this one's huge. 4-star transfer portal get Treshaun Ward from Florida State coming into K-State. This is perfect. This is on brand.
1,200 career rushing yards. That's a nice addition.
This is on brand. This is why they're going to be really good again. They also landed 4-star transfer Keagan Johnson, wide receiver from Iowa. I mean, they fucking hit a home run in the portal, dude. And I'm not even done yet.
Yeah, Keagan Johnson, absolutely great get.
Yeah, absolutely great get. Then, there's this cornerback named Marcus Siegel from North Dakota State, who played for the FCS National Championship and only won like 3,000 national championships over the past 10 years.
Yeah.
Right? I like getting those guys on your roster, and that is their transfer portal. Would you say they won the portal, Patty C?
I would say they didn't lose.
I would say they dominated the portal.
Yeah. You know, Johnson I don't know what happened last year. Maybe he was injured, but he had a solid 19.6 yards per catch for Iowa the year before in 2021.
Well, and I think he saw Charlie Jones go off for Purdue. The Iowa transfer to leave to Purdue and be one of the best wideouts in college football.
Yeah, when you leave Iowa, great things happen.
And he's probably thinking, what the fuck am I doing here? Look, Kirk Ferentz, I love you. All right? But at the same time, let me go out and but at the same time, K-State is not a juggernaut at passing the ball. Let's talk a little bit about that, Patty C. Because a year ago, Kansas State was 36th in scoring offense, 15th in rush offense, 15th, run the damn ball. Look at the shirt if you're watching on YouTube, youtube.com/college experience. Patty C, they were 92nd in passing the ball, 40th in total offense, 40th. Defensively, no, we'll get to that later. What do you make of this offense, Patty C? Or those numbers, I should say. Those numbers from a season ago, because we're going to go in detail about essentially how the offense will look in a second.
I mean, impressive scoring and
running the ball.
Yeah, super impressive running the ball.
Well, if you're running the ball that good, you know what's amazing? When you bring back your entire fucking offensive line and your tight end Ben Sinnott, who can block and he can catch. Buddy, I don't care about the rest of the team.
Yeah.
They're going to be good just off of that.
Yeah. I mean, it's nice to have, sometimes the running stats are highly impacted by the receivers. I mean, you can pass to set up the run for sure. But I think if you have that kind of, offensive line, that's going to, if you get that kind of push, unless they're absolutely able to stack the box, you're going to have a good running game.
Yeah. And when you tell me Will Howard, and that was my biggest surprise, shout out to Will Howard. The progression that Will Howard made from the previous year when I thought he couldn't complete an open pass to save his life, very impressive.
Yeah.
Very impressive to me. And if he plays at that level, I think K-State will be in contention for the Big 12 championship. But if he even improves on that, you're talking about a guy, like you said, that could have some real, pro upside. But man, I was really, really impressed with what he. I mean, that was a gigantic jump. You don't see that in a lot of quarterbacks. So shout out to Will Howard.
I will say that in the latter half of the year, he certainly struggled. Of course, the level of competition was a lot higher, but only down in the 50s completion percentage wise.
He's still dual threat though.
Yeah, but
like he can break off like a 30-yard run at any time. So it's like you got to know that if the completion percentage is down a little bit, he still has the capability.
Yeah, he opens up the offense with the slice. But if he can get that completion percentage up,
if he can make another jump like he'd made from his previous year to this year, and by the way, he's only a junior. They're going to get him back next year. So
3 years completion percentage 53, 54, and then 60 last year. So
that's what I'm saying.
60% completion percentage is serviceable. If you get it up to 64 or so, then you got to really potent offense.
It's still perfect in this offense.
Yeah.
Like to me, like this offense, they are the epitome of like power football in college football.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they have a speed element to their game. They're not Wisconsin here, but
true. But at the same time, like I said, that Oklahoma game, go back and watch that game.
Yeah,
I feel like they did like the QB, the QB power, like 20 times that game.
Oh yeah,
and that was like, and Oklahoma had no answer for it. It was fucking hilarious. I remember like a pivotal 3rd and 8, and everyone in the stadium thought, "Oh, K-State's going to pass for this." No, here's again QB power, Martinez, 15-yard run. Right. And Oklahoma looked like they just, and that's what's great is Oklahoma was known as such a power for all those years. Kind of turned into a little bitch ball. You know what I mean? Like they honestly, I mean, And K-State's like, no, we'll keep it 1950 on you. Fuck you. Stop us. We got numbers on you. Right? Stop Adrian Martinez. Right?
I mean, that's what they do. They say, we'll sacrifice, someone like an elite passer, and we're going to threaten you with the quarterback running. We're only going to have 2 backs, right?
Yeah.
And then we're going to have as many wide receivers as we can, and we're just going to stretch the field and have everyone be a threat.
100%, man. And Chris Kleiman is just a fucking great coach, man. Will Howard's back, obviously, as I alluded to. He's just a junior this year. I would like to see him stay healthy. Actually, he wasn't the reason he didn't get injured a year ago, but still, I feel like K-State's been plagued by the injured quarterback for a while. Treshaun Ward coming in at running back, I think, is great. I think like when you line up those two behind that powerful offensive line of returning everybody, and when I say everybody, these aren't just like these are all like some of these guys were all second team Big 12, so stuff like that. So it's not nothing to. This is a powerful unit back there. Yeah. And then when you return the tight end Sinnott, I'm excited. Then you look at the receiver spot. Yeah, you could say they only bring back one starter in Phillip Brooks from a year ago, but adding Keagan Johnson, so huge. And I know they're excited about the development of RJ Garcia, who was just a freshman just a year ago. So now he's penciled in to be a starter at the sophomore spot. Patty C, I mean, the offense, if everyone stays healthy, is going to be better, in my opinion.
Yeah, offense will fly. You mentioned that Treshaun Ward, you think is going to be even an upgrade on Deuce Vaughn. Deuce Vaughn, good for 1,500 yards. That's asking a lot.
The home run threat is probably better with Vaughn, obviously.
I don't know. Ward is a speedster,
He is a speedster, but I thought like a couple games stood out to me. I pretty much watched K-State every single game this season.
Yeah.
There was a couple times where I thought goal line running was an issue, or 4th and 1, or something like that.
What's his name?
If they weren't doing the quarterback drag or whatever, the quarterback sweep to Martinez, I thought it was an issue a little bit. So,
well, let's see. Treshaun Ward of 5'10", 195. Deuce Vaughn 5'6", 172.
Maybe DJ Giddens, the backup, 6'1", 210. Will be their goal line guy.
There you go. Even if you have 195, you're adding 23 pounds in the backfield. I mean, it seemed like Ward would be a speedster that would, shake the defense and break arm tackles. And I could see Deuce Vaughn being the type of dude who gets hit with an arm and falls on his back.
But they love, if you go deep in that backfield, you see LaJames White, 5'7", 189. Fucking Lionel James is reborn. So, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, they like that. Darren Sproles.
They love a water bug at K-State.
Well, I mean, that is a perfect example of why this program is very successful. Though. Yeah. Darren Sproles wasn't recruited to a lot of places. Bill Snyder said, come here, man.
No, you can ball.
Yeah.
We'll make use of you.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is what they do. Yeah, I think the offense, bringing back the whole offensive line, is so huge. Defensively, they were 28th in the nation in scoring defense. Bit surprised by some of the other numbers. 28th on scoring defense is like on par with K-State that I know in my whole life.
Yeah.
67th in rush defense, 63 in pass defense. So charting at 63rd overall. A little bit surprised. A little more regression than I feel like. But I guess if they win the games, who the fuck cares? But
16th in the nation in turnovers. That might explain the difference between total defense, which you said was 63, and scoring defense, which was 28th.
So they're super aggressive. I know Joe Clanderman's the DC there. He's in his 4th year, and he's done a great job. So it's like at winning games, this is where I believe numbers maybe are bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, we watch the games. It's not like this team it's not like you watch this team and say, oh, the defense sucks.
Yeah. But
at the same time, here they are charting at 63rd from a yard standpoint.
The Big 12 has always known how to move the ball, though. It's always going to be tough to defend the Big 12. Even if they have gotten become a more physical conference than they were, it's still not the ACC. Even the SEC is still a super defensive conference. The Big 12 is still an offensive conference, I would say.
Well, buddy, I can tell you this: no matter what it is, they're bringing back 5 starters, but in a way, I feel like you should still be more optimistic than hearing just 5 starters. Because, by the way, let's just jump into it. They returned 2 of 3 on the defensive line. They're going, they do that 3-3-5 stuff a lot of time. Well, I don't know. They kind of bounce around. 3-4 also as well. But Brandon Mott at the DN spot. Also, Khalid Duke is back both ends are back. It's in the trenches. It's the nose guard they got to worry about. Uso Semolalo is penciled in to be the starter. But once again, they did bring in Javon Banks from Mississippi State, so don't be surprised if he ends up starting as well. The 4 linebackers, like I said, 3-4, I'm sorry, not 3-3-5, that they do often. Bringing back, 2 of the 4. Daniel Green back, Austin Moore back. They bring in, I shouldn't say they bring in. They're asking Desmond Purnell to step up at the sophomore spot. And then VJ Payne. Once again, another thing that jumps out to me, Patty C, is the youth of this defense. Assuming no one transfers, which is almost impossible to assume these days, they have 0 seniors on the defense. Cornerback, in the secondary, they bring back strong safety Kobe Savage, second team all Big 12, Patty C. They've always had good defensive backs, whether it's Canty, whether it's Terrence Newman. I feel like they always got good DBs.
We got a couple guys back there, yeah.
Well, and Sigel, the transfer from North Dakota State, penciled in to be a day 1 starter at the free safety spot. So there is that. You got some experience at the safety, but the corners are, if you're gonna really be concerned about the defense, I think it's the corners. Jacob Parrish, sophomore, asked to start. Same with Will Leah Jr. The whole defense, inexperienced, but at the same time, you got some guys that have been big time players. Austin Moore, the linebacker, was second team all Big 12. Kobe Savage was second team all Big 12 at the safety spot. So they have guys that have proven it at this level.
Yeah, but three defensive backs that just went to the NFL.
Yeah,
that's a lot to replace.
But that's a factory, man.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, any factory though sometimes takes a step back. I mean, it might not be a huge step back if it's a true factory, but when you're cranking out high-end dudes like that, it's not a guarantee that you're going to be able to replace them. So while this offense looks primed to take a step forward, the defense might take a slight step back.
I think one of the things you should be concerned about is a brand new kicker and punter, but they've been special teams to you. You could argue they invented Beamer ball.
Watch your mouth, but yeah,
I would agree that
around the same time.
I think it was the same exact time.
Yeah,
period.
Bill Snyder and Frank Beamer getting it done.
But brand new kicker and punter, obviously, Martin Gramatica. The Gramaticas, all of them. I feel like went to K-State.
Bill Gramatica.
Yeah, I
How
feel
do you
like
have Martine and Bill as your sons?
first name's Martin. And we're gonna go. What's we? Bill.
Bob.
How did even Bill become a name? I don't know. Is that like they got a bill in the mail?
And they're just
And
like,
they're just
William,
like-
you're Bill.
Yeah, maybe something like
know.
that. I don't know. Folks, look, we're gonna get to every game on the schedule here and go game by game and project how we think K-State will do. But before we do that, I want to tell you that the Kansas State Wildcats 2023 season preview is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes, Best Ball Mania is here, and Underdog Fantasy is giving away $15 million in prizes. Underdog Pickup is also a great way to get down on your favorite MLB and NFL season player props. There's so many ways to win over at Underdog, and Underdog's available in so many different states. It's half the battle in some of these states. Head over to UnderdogFantasy.com. Use that promo code SGPN for 100% deposit bonus up to $100. Once again, that's UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code SGPN. All right, we are back on the college football experience. Kansas State Wildcats. Tell that Wildcat behind the wheel to start watching K-State basketball, football, basketball, whatever, Patty C. I got glasses on. I can't fucking talk. All right.
I have glasses, so I can't talk.
No, it's a standard thing.
Yeah. I mean, you wear the glasses.
It happened to my oldest brother. Second grade, they gave him glasses. Couldn't talk for a year. All right. Standard. You didn't know about this? There's a psychology about this. Like, we put the glasses on.
The
you
mouth
feel
just
like you're
shuts
like,
down.
wait, people are looking at me, and not because of my good looks or personality. It's because I got these frames on. You know what I mean? So it goes
The
way
mouthpiece,
back.
yeah.
Kurt Rambis would have averaged 30 a game if they'd figured out contacts back then. Buddy, here we are. If you're watching on YouTube, youtube.com/the college experience. That win total 8.5, Patty. See, it's like they finally listened to Dundee. Are you surprised at 8.5 or no?
I'm surprised it's that low.
Yeah, me too.
This was a 10-4 team last year, 10-3 after conference championship game.
Let's get into it, buddy, because Saturday, September 2nd, preseason top 25 FCS Southeast Missouri coming in to Bill Snyder Family Stadium.
Win.
Yeah, not buying it. Now, now here's the interesting spot. A year ago, they were in a dogfight with Tulane, and Tulane ended up getting that dub, right? And I'm worried about this Troy game.
You very much should be,
because Troy is very good, and because they have a rival it used to be Big 8 rival or Big 7 in the Missouri Tigers. And that's on deck when they go to Columbia, Missouri. So I'm a little worried about this Troy game. I'll be honest. It is a great spot for Troy to schedule this fucking game.
You're right. A little bit of a look ahead spot.
What are you doing here?
Look, 12-2 Troy last year. I still have to go K-State, but you definitely need to be careful because like we said, the talent composite and our number 71 as of the most recent one. These if it was Texas versus Troy, well, shit, Texas might lose to Troy.
Yeah.
So never mind. Either way, I think you got to take this game seriously, but I am going to give it to the Wildcats.
Oh man, they get him.
You're giving it to Troy?
I just feel like between Troy, this next game's at Missouri, and then the first ever Big 12 game for UCF is in the Little Apple. I got K-State at 3-1.
I got them at 4-0.
I think they could be 4-0 too, but I just feel like
they could lose
look back
at Missouri.
At that Tulane game. All right, I'll join you. 4-0. You sold me.
All right.
I want K-State in the 12-team playoff, which doesn't start for another year, but still, they get a bye week. And then back-to-back away at Oklahoma State and at Texas Tech. They're losing one of these. Maybe both.
Yeah, maybe both. What were the scores of this? They beat Texas Tech by 9 last year and against Oklahoma State. That was at home. Oklahoma State was also at home. They won 48-0. So let's just go ahead and say it's going to be the second end of the back-to-back road game against Texas Tech. That Oklahoma State game,
Stillwater's tough. And they didn't have Spencer Sanders that game.
Friday night, that's a big thing. No Spencer Sanders. Friday night off of a bye for both teams. big time national television environment. That could be 2 losses, but I'm going to give them one. One
I'll
in that
say
stretch.
one.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So
But
5-1, 5-1.
TCU comes to town. Sonny Dykes. They should have lost the first matchup. They did lose the second. Remember, Will Howard and Martinez got injured. They were up 18
in the first one.
Yeah.
They're better than TCU.
And they're going to beat them again.
By the way, TCU, Max Duggan from Council Bluffs,
Iowa.
Yeah. You know who else was from Council Bluffs, Iowa?
Tell me who.
Jake Waters, who just happens to be Iowa State's quality control analyst, offensive quality control analyst. That means Farmageddon has even more heat because Chris Kleiman is an Iowa guy there.
Wow.
So they're just trading back and forth across the border.
So wait, after October 21st, are we sitting here saying this is a 6-1 team?
This is a 6-1 team.
Okay, then the Houston Cougars and Dana Holgerson, he might sell you a fucking LeBaron, an 87 LeBaron in the middle of this game, but I think K-State beats them.
I have to agree with you. 7-1
at Texas.
Here's the loss.
Yeah, I'll join you here.
They lost in Manhattan last year by 7. What's the?
This was the goal line games that I'm talking about.
I wonder what the recent history of this game.
I feel like Texas has their number over the past few years.
Let me double check.
Historically, Snyder had their number.
10-13 all time against Texas. Although Texas winners of it looks like 6 straight. Most of these games pretty close though. 7-point loss, a 5-point loss before that, 3-point loss, 5-point loss, 6-point loss. There was that 69-31 loss in 2020, but again,
2020 didn't have any of the players. Yeah,
pretty much this game is going to be a close loss. If history tells us anything,
so I'll join you. Give me the Longhorns, even though it's disgusting, and I'll be rooting for K-State
big time.
Shit, I might have went to the last game K-State won in Austin because I was there. Anyway, then the Baylor Bears
rainstorm.
Yeah, then the Baylor Bears come to town.
This is a big one. This is a tough one. You can't just give this one to K-State.
No, I'm taking it. This is Baylor.
You're giving it to Baylor?
There's one loss that we're not seeing, dude.
Well, I'll say there's one loss in these next 3 games.
We gave Texas Tech and Texas, as their for sure losses. I think there's one other one out there.
I mean, we said OK State could be one.
Yeah,
I think TCU.
Maybe it's Baylor. Maybe it's Missouri. Maybe it's Troy. I don't know. I think there's one more. But when we've already done the Kansas preview, we took K-State to win in Lawrence.
You know what? Since I've already given them that, and we already did the Iowa State preview, and we gave it to Kansas as well. I'll join you, and we'll give them a loss against.
I think
Baylor
they're 9-3
at home.
I think they're a 9-3 football
I think
team.
They might be a 10-2 or
they
11-1 team.
Dude, they honestly, you look at the schedule. There's no one that I just say they're. It's an automatic loss.
Yeah.
I just think though that they're due to lose 1 or 2 for sure.
I am curious.
It's too hard of a gauntlet.
Historically, not maybe so much recently, winners of 3 of the last 4 against Oklahoma, and the only loss being in 2021, a 6-point loss. But 22-77 all time against Oklahoma. I think that avoiding them is probably a good thing, assuming
if they played Oklahoma,
they would beat them.
I think that because
maybe it's not a good thing for them to avoid.
I don't think Jeff Levy's style of ball don't work against Chris Kleiman.
That's true.
That's what I'm saying. I think that
it's a little cha-cha.
Yeah,
shit.
I think if you're an Oklahoma fan, you're sitting there saying, "Hey, we don't have K-State on the schedule. This is great."
Yeah, I don't know. I think 9-3 sounds right. 8.5 is what Vegas gives us. We're going over.
Is K-State? Yeah, I like the over. I like it because I think it's more likely also that they could be 10-2. But let me ask you this, Petty C. Could is West Virginia? I'm sorry. Is not West Virginia? Kansas State the dominant run team in the Big 12? Is that the most physical team you face in the Big 12?
I mean, Baylor's been physical.
You still kind of pass the ball a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, who else is?
I actually think it's either them or Iowa State.
Iowa State is definitely physical.
Yeah.
I mean, Oklahoma State has cranked out runners, but
they do the spread though.
Yeah, it's not
bit, you know what I mean? Like
necessarily. TCU is also a somewhat physical.
Running air raid.
Yeah. Well, now, yeah. Yeah, maybe they are the toughest team. You know, they're right there with Baylor. And who's the other one you said?
I said
Baylor and Iowa State. Iowa State
I
might
think
be.
Iowa State and K-State are the top two.
Yeah.
I think Baylor even does a little more spread than K-State and Iowa State.
Yeah, maybe under Rule they were a little more physical, but
that was like 2 years though.
Yeah,
they left.
Yeah.
Either way, folks, I'm on the over. Patty C's on the over, and I like their chances to win the Big 12. Could we have a Sunflower Showdown in the Big 12 championship, Patty C?
We very much could. We just talked about that on the Kansas preview.
That would be fantastic.
And look,
fantastic.
Even in Lawrence, we are giving this one to
dude. Every single game on this schedule. This is why the Big 12/Big 14 this year is, in my opinion, the most entertaining conference. To me, it's like not even close.
Yeah,
I think this is by far the most entertaining conference.
Well, again, what are the odds that one of these teams emerges and goes to the college football playoff? Probably actually not very high, just because the carnage.
But the week-to-week grind is gonna be awesome.
You know what it takes? It takes, and it's the same thing with MAC. Like, you really have to just like understand each of the teams and appreciate like watching them fight each other and see who comes out on top. That's what parity provides. If you're just a fan that wants to see greatness, you want to tune in and watch Alabama whip everyone's ass, then that's going to be more entertaining.
Georgia whip everyone's ass.
There you go. But if you want to watch competitive football and you know all the characters, and
to me, when I watch a football game, I want to see a close game.
Yeah,
I want to see a good game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I'll say this too.
Yeah.
After TCU beat Michigan last year, I think we have hard proof that the Big 12 can compete.
Dude, they're better than the Big 10.
Especially in a 12-team playoff for the first two rounds.
Just because you have Ohio State and Michigan does not mean you're a better
rest of
conference.
The conference is better.
So you have Rutgers in Indiana. There is no Rutgers.
They
Indiana.
would go 0-8, 0-9.
Yeah, there's no Northwestern.
Yeah.
All of those teams would get their ass kicked in the Big 12.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hear that shit. It's narrative. It's fucking narrative just because they got a TV contract. Stupid.
Hey, the Big 12 and the 12-team playoff are meant for each other.
They are, folks. Before we get out of here, I got a chance to sit down with Michael Barker, aka College Football Campus Tour, on Twitter, which you should be following because he is absolutely fantastic. He's been to every single FBS stadium, every single one, and most of the FCS and a lot of D2 and D3.
A stud.
NAIA too. He documents it all.
NAIA.
So, there you go.
He's going to NAIA stadiums, people.
Get on over there. Look, I got a chance to sit down with him and talk about his experiences to the Little Apple. Here we go. Joining us on the College Football Experience, Kansas State Wildcats 2023 season preview episode is, well, someone that you must be following. If you love college football, this is a must follow on Twitter at CFB Campus Tour. And you might already be following him if you love college football, because I feel like a lot of people just follow based on what he posts. But behind CFB Campus Tour is one Michael Barker. How you doing, Michael? And appreciate you hopping on the show to talk a little Bill Snyder Family Football Stadium and the Kansas State Wildcats. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. Thank you to anybody that's followed me on Twitter. And this is a cool stadium. It's improved a lot, so I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah, man. I mean, like I've had a great experience with Kansas State fans now. I've never been to Bill Snyder Football Stadium, but out going to college football games, Kansas State fans are always really cool to me. So I became a fan of Kansas State, and I kind of they're like the team that I just kind of root for. So I got to get to a game at some point. But tell me about Bill Snyder Family Football Stadium, man.
So it opened in 1968, had a 35,000 seat capacity. And I do these tweets on Twitter where I take old photos and I compare it to the new photos of the stadium. And this is one of the biggest stadium improvements that they have. Part of the renovations, they increased capacity. Now it's 50,000. But over the last 20 years, they've done everything in terms of press box and in the field. And really, it's called the West Side Stadium Center. And the exterior, it's 250,000 square feet, first of all. And the whole exterior is decorated in limestone. And it's so unique. It's so classy. And, I talk about on Twitter cathedrals of college football. And it really gives off that vibe. And if you go back and look at even photos from the early 90s, it just looks nothing like it. And, it's honestly one of the biggest improvements that you could have. And it's named after Bill Snyder, the famous coach, really the father of Kansas State football. And he took over them when they were in the very lower tier of college football. His first season, he went 1-10, and after that, his overall record is 215, 117, and 1. So incredible win history, winning Big 12 championships, and took a program and just put it on his back. And that's why he got a second stint there. That's why they named the home stadium after them. So great history, great story, great improvements to the stadium. It's definitely one worth visiting.
Yeah, and Bill Snyder's a legend. His coaching tree is unbelievable, from like Bob Stoops to Brett Bielema to Mark Mangino to Jim Levitt. I think Rex Ryan even coached under him for at one point. But yeah, just that's awesome, man. I got to get there. What game did you see, man?
So I went during the COVID year. There were only certain conferences playing that were allowing fans. The SEC and the Big 10 or Big 12 were one of them. It was interesting because I previously, or actually on that day, I tried to do a 2-for-1 with Kansas, and Kansas did not allow fans, but Kansas State did. And I found that to be rather interesting, but I was fortunate to get to a game in 2020. It was an upset versus Arkansas State. It was not foreseen, 35-31. It was one of the surprises of the college football season. From a stadium perspective, I really enjoyed it. It's beautiful inside. I have some coaches on Twitter that message me that I should go back there, and I would love to. It's one of the biggest holes in my traveling resume that I don't have a non-COVID game there. So Manhattan is a fun town, and the stadium is an enjoyable experience. So I'm hoping that the next time I get out there is for a big game and with a full capacity stadium.
There we go, man. Look, it's high on my list as to get to a stadium, or if you told me, hey, here's the private jet, you got 10 stadiums you can go to. I think it's pretty high on my list of where I want to go that I haven't already been. So maybe one day I'll see you there, Michael. Folks, give him a follow on Twitter at CFB Campus Tour. You won't be disappointed. Like I said, he said, he does the history of the stadiums. You can compare the photo. It's just a cool follow. You should follow it for sure if you like college football. Michael, I appreciate you coming on, talk a little Wildcat football and Bill Snyder Family Stadium, man. You take care, brother.
Absolutely. Thank you as always for having me, Colby, and look forward to talking to you again next time.
For sure, brother. Have a good one, man. All right, Michael Barker. Patty, see, I got to get to the Little Apple.
Oh my gosh, that is a beautiful stadium they got over there.
It doesn't look great. It's like
a cathedral, he calls it.
It is, man. It's just one of the coolest looking stadiums in college football. Let's go. All right, we got to get out there. And if you're in the Kansas area, you should too, folks. That's our show. I'm on the over. Patty, see, could this be on the Locks episode in August?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially if we get some news that the defense. I mean, that's the part I worry about. The offense, I'm very confident in. The defense, slight concerns about. Plus, the competition level is pretty high. But if all of a sudden we get great reports about the defense, then that could be a lock.
Yeah, I'm on the over. Patty C's on the over. Stay tuned to our Locks episode in August. Folks, subscribe to the College Football Experience. And like I said, subscribe to the Big 12 College Experience. And also subscribe to, FCS College Football Experience, the College Basketball Experience. Obviously, Jerome Tang doing a great job with the Wildcats and the College Baseball Experience. We come together as one on YouTube, youtube.com/the College Experience. Subscribe, tell a friend, all that good stuff. Get the SGPN app. It's free to download in the App Store and Google Play Store. You'll get access to our articles, our interviews, all this good stuff, all for free. We're not trying to take your money. Get out of here. What are you doing? Look, folks, if you love K-State sports, you should be a part of our Discord, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. Always talk about, doesn't matter the sport. Chiefs, it could be Kansas City Royals. It does not matter. And I know those are in Missouri, but look, anything, Wichita State basketball, anything, UMKC. All right. We got it all. All right. There might be a Domino's game going on in Wichita. We got it covered.
It may be in Missouri, but it is still Kansas City. Right.
There you go.
The name still says Kansas. They are still the defending Super Bowl champs in Kansas. So, and they're
still the defending Big 12 champs in the Little Apple.
Hello.
Let's go. This is the college football experience, Kansas State Wildcat style. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
Run, shoot.